In 2010, South Korea was only 49 years old. We were all trying to engineer the next stage of our lives. The stakes were high. Hyundai could keep chugging along, cranking out very good, if unremarkable, cheap cars. Or it could try something radical and untested and aspire to become something much more than what it was and what people expected it to be. If Hyundai faltered, its moment might not come again. Soon it could be bypassed by waves of Chinese economy cars and might never rise above the level of being the brand that's almost as good as Toyota. Korea could rest on its laurels, congratulating itself for how far it had come so quickly, maybe the fastest industrialized development in history, and enjoy the fact that Samsung, Hyundai, and LG Electronics had become global brands. But the country knew that if it started coasting, it faced the prospect of becoming another Japan. Zero population growth coupled with a swelling over 65 population weighing down a stagnant economy overly dependent on national champion conglomerates that may be past their prime. Korea's leaders understood that just doing more of what got Korea to where it was in 2010 was not enough if the country was going to write the next chapter of its remarkable growth story. Korea had to become something else besides what it was. If I washed out as a PR executive in a foreign company, we'd still have Rebecca's foreign service job, free housing for 2 years, and a grand adventure. But I didn't want to wash out. I had only 15 to 20 prime earning years left and was heading a family for the first time. If I could succeed at this job, I could set us on solid financial footing for years to come in a way I never could on a journalist's salary. More important, I was starting a family late in life. Most middle-aged family men had already made their radical change from bachelorhood to husband and father in their 20s and 30s. I was a 46-year-old, first-time newlywed. Like an old stag deer, I had long settled into my life patterns, wearing footpaths around Washington, between friends and within the post. Now, for the first time in my adult life, I had to pay attention to someone else's opinion of me, and start a new career, and do it in a foreign country. That was my midlife crisis. The big question was, how would Hyundai, Korea, or I know if we had made it through our midlife crises? How would we know if we had succeeded in writing a second act? With businesses and governments, you can establish quantifiable measurements, or KPIs, key performance indicators, as they're called. Former South Korean President Lee Myung-bak campaigned on a catchy 747 platform. He wanted to achieve 7% GDP growth, reach a $40,000 per capita income, and make Korea the world's 7th largest economy. Hyundai worked to achieve the top 3 quality ranking among its global competitors. But would Korea have to look beyond GDP growth and employment? Would Hyundai's midlife transition require new metrics? What about me? How would I know? When would I know if I had done it? What were my KPIs? It was my great good fortune to have arrived at Hyundai at the moment it was launching its grand experiment, and just as Korea began trying to reimagine itself. My global PR team would be instrumental in Hyundai's next big step, and I had a press box seat for the beginning of Korea's attempted transformation. The number of foreign executives who had worked at the big Korean chaebol ever could be counted on 2 hands. This was history being made, and I had insider access that almost no other Waegukun could or would have. Hyundai's makeover. When I joined Hyundai, the company was a couple of years into a strong run of growing sales and increasing reputation around the globe, especially in the U.S. The world's biggest automakers, Chevrolet, Volkswagen, Toyota, Nissan, Honda, saw Hyundai as you might see a car coming up fast in your rearview mirror. Starting in 2008, Hyundai began an aggressive overseas capacity expansion. It raised new automotive manufacturing plants in the Czech Republic, India, and China, and had blueprints for new plants that would open the next few years in Russia and Brazil. In 2008, Hyundai sold 2.8 million cars globally. By the end of 2013, it was 4.7 million. Combined with its sister company Kia, Hyundai had become the world's 5th largest automaker, trailing only GM, Toyota, Volkswagen, and barely Ford. Even with